Look who's back.
Woo!
Look who's back on the Nudelberg Daily Huddle. Oh my God, Steve Nudelberg's back.
Hey, first of all, shout out to you guys for keeping the train running. The conversation has been great. I think you both owe a debt of gratitude to Deion Sanders, though. I mean, if you didn't have Deion Sanders, there's no content in the world.
Yeah, you know what? He makes
Around
life
Deion.
easy. He makes it easy to talk about.
Even Helen is sending me these memes and these GIFs and these reels about, hey, did you see this one? This one's even better, because his content gets better every single day. It's great to be back. I totally did not miss you for a second.
I know you were itching to get back here, but I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you that you went and you didn't even watch the huddle. You didn't even tune in. You didn't check your email. You were truly like just disconnected. So good for you. Well done, sir.
He
I would
couldn't-
have lost that bet 1,000,000 out of 1,000,000 times.
He couldn't stay away from me for too long, though.
I needed it bad. I have, as everybody knows, I have a pretty aggressive work ethic, and I just needed to get away. And I was fortunate to be able to go to some amazing places. I was amazing. Had an amazing travel companion who she is unbelievable to travel with, in spite of the fact that I think she wiped everything clean. She is the cleanest person I know. She has stock in Purell. I still got a fucking cold, man. I got a cold, man. I didn't get sick the whole time I was there. I got sick coming home yesterday, but it was amazing. The food, the culture. I would not consider myself a sightseer. We talked about this yesterday, Mark, you and I, and the guys. But I do want to know. I want to explore. I just don't want to go deep. So.
I want to see it. I don't want to know about it. That's the short phrase.
How much shit do you have to tell me about the Coliseum? Okay, I see it. It's great. It's like
I remember I saw more pictures of ancient or whatever the heck they are, rulers and kings and queens. I was like, they all look alike.
It's like, we went to the Vatican, which is great.
Right.
It's hot as balls. There's a zillion different people there. I don't need to know everything about every map and every little thing. I was glad I was there. It was fantastic. But for those of you who do not know, something very special happened on this trip. And I asked the woman that I've been seeing for the last 3 years to be my bride. And
you're engaged. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So shout out to so many people. First off, Lori Kenner, my travel agent, which we'll talk about shortly. God, a couple of years ago, I didn't even know the travel agent still existed. She positioned every single bit of the trip. Fantastic. That was the Splendido Hotel in Portofino. Unreal. And then none of this could have happened without our friend and client and just all around amazing human being, Ed Dykes, who helped me pick the ring. And it went fantastic. It's great. It's, people have asked me, do you feel differently? I just feel poor.
Yeah, that'll do it.
There's
super
Helen.
Happy. Super happy about adding Helen to the tribe and her being a part of the family. Happy for you guys. Excited for the wedding. There is an expectation now that there's going to be a kick-ass party, because if there's not a kick-ass party, then you're letting everybody down. So we're excited for the party. We're excited for the food to come. We can't wait for the wedding, Helen. Can't wait.
Oh, boy.
All good things in time. All good things in time. But after being away, for the last time I did the huddle was in August. So I'll give you some, I was away for 3 weeks. Lots has transpired that I didn't get to talk to you about. But the most significant thing, forget about the fact that I got engaged, was Shay show me Twinkies, man. Twinkies got sold, baby. Hostess Brands bought Twinkies, so Twinkies live forever.
Unbelievable. When's the last time you had a Twinkie?
So it's not about, and I said this before, it's not about having a Twinkie. It's knowing I can have a Twinkie. Like if Twinkies went away, I would be devastated.
You would be devastated because Twinkies were no longer on the market.
Yeah, well, so look, for me, I remember doing Twinkie eating contests. Where how many Twinkies could you put into your mouth at the same? I mean,
it's fair for me. Like Twinkies are the hallmark of the post baseball game or post football game treat, right? Like the team mom was there, and you were getting like orange juice or Gatorade, and you were getting a Twinkie, or you were getting like a moon pie. You were getting something. Probably you were getting some like sliced oranges, but let's be serious. Everybody was bypassing the sliced oranges and was like, where are the Twinkies? So
where the hell are the Twinkies?
I feel like this is the Chipotle or whatever, however you pronounce that.
You've never had a Twinkie?
I hate Twinkies.
Oh my God.
I was a Yodel and Yankee Doodle fan.
Listen, if it wasn't for the fact that you're getting great feedback from being on the show, you would be banned. No show for you. No show.
I love it. Show's already out of control.
I got a lot of stuff to go over today. It's great. I had fun writing the content yesterday. Shay, wake us up and let's get into this content because I'm back. Wake up, everybody. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Wake up. Come on, come on. Wake up, everybody. Teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen what you have to say. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. No more about to thinking, time to thinking ahead. Come on. All right. So this whole travel experience, had been years for me since I traveled outside of the country. So it was fun getting revved up for that. But there's a couple of topics I want to unpack that just sort of popped into my mind. But I do want to share some great motivational music. Eric Clapton, take it away.
Traveling light is the only way to fly. Traveling light, just you and I. A one-way ticket to ecstasy, way on down. Just follow me. Traveling light is the only way to fly. Traveling light, we can catch the wind. Traveling light, just let your mind pretend. We can go to paradise, maybe once, maybe twice. Traveling light.
So thank you, Jonathan. I think it's an important way to start your morning. And even though these two took over the show and found it more important for them to blabber their way through the show and not do motivational music.
Listen, there's a structure to the show, and sometimes the first conversation gets so carried away that you don't get to the motivational music.
You guys got off on it. So a couple of things. So let's talk about travel agents. So have you ever used a travel agent?
I have not.
Okay. Lori?
No.
Okay. So a couple of years ago, and a big shout out to Celebrity because we were on the Celebrity Edge. Lisa Lutoff-Perlo will be here. She'll be the hugger in the hot seat in a couple of weeks. Man, they do a great job of elevating, cruising to another level. But I was on a charity event. I actually been on a suite for a new ship, the Celebrity Beyond, that went in and out of port. And then, boom, we're on this thing. We sit down at dinner, and the lady sits down next to me. She goes, "Oh, you're such a cute couple," talking about me and Helen. And oh yeah, what do you do? She's a travel agent. I started cracking up. I go, what the fuck's a travel agent, man? I was like, I book, Shay books my airfare. I mean, why do you need a travel agent? Well, she over the course of the 3 years has helped me manage so many amazing trips that she basically helped me handle every single detail of this trip. And I want to give shout outs to them. I'm going to ask her to come on and be a guest because you know what that cost me?
A lot.
I have no idea.
Nothing. Nothing. I mean, it's the most insane thing in the world. Travel agents are there because they bring their expertise and their knowledge. She is a traveler herself. She helped me maneuver when to do what and how to do it in coordination. Access to certain places, like I would have never found the Splendido Hotel, let alone she handled all of the back stuff with the maitre d' who came up to us with 2 glasses of champagne and said, hey, are you guys celebrating something special? All of that little stuff. And so, I want you to give me in your minds another business that gives you that type of guidance and knowledge without getting compensated for it.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean they don't get? There's got to be some kind of
say.
compensation for it. Like,
I was hoping you guys.
there's a service fee being tacked on to your tickets, and like she's getting a commission or she's getting a piece.
Whoa.
Kind
Okay,
of
so this is what I want to talk to you about. I am not paying for that. She is directing business to restaurants, hotels, and they have a built-in commission. I'm not paying more. I am just getting direction. When we went to Napa, I mean, first of all, we didn't even stay in Napa. We stayed in Yountsville, which is a better place than Napa. Everybody knows Napa. That's where Napa is. It's all commercialized. So, look, there's a lot of people here. Sherry Cedar, the right travel agent, makes a huge difference. This trip is half the trip without a great travel agent.
So I do have one question for you, though.
Good.
Did you run into any travel issues that you then were not able to handle because you didn't actually handle the booking or have the information or you weren't the point person?
That's an excellent question. So before I left, I got a full binder from her of every confirmation, everything. There was a 24-hour hotline. I got tags for my things. I mean, it was so comprehensive. Like, I wish my doctor was that good. I'm serious. My doctor's like, they never know what's going on. This lady knew where I was, and it didn't all go smooth. The driver in Barcelona taking us to the airport didn't show up. We just hopped in a cab, which is going to be my next conversation. We hopped in a taxi, went to the airport. She texted me later that morning, hey, I got a note from Tempo VIP, da-da-da-da-da. There was a mix-up. They're refunding it. I didn't even have to call her. So I'm just throwing it out there. The intricacies, if you are going on a trip and you want it to be great, I think you should use a travel agent.
I love
Comment number 2 about traveling. So we are all programmed. I am programmed to use Uber first. I go Uber first, taxi second. So as a comment, Lori, do you do the same thing? Do you go Uber first?
Yes.
Okay. Mark?
Yeah, 1,000%. It's a no-brainer.
Okay. So when you get an Uber, is it a wonderful experience?
Well, I pay for comfort now. So I would tell you that I never take Uber X. I only take Uber Comfort because it's a difference of like $4.
Uber X might as well be to a Camry. Just
for me,
Camry.
It pretty much guarantees that I'm in a Tesla. And unless the person has absolutely no idea how to drive the vehicle, it's quiet. I got a solid ride. And I would say that it's 99% of the time an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
So we're at the hotel, beautiful Hotel de Arts in Barcelona. There's no car there. What are we going to do? The doorman says, I can get you a taxi, a magnificent taxi, like all of the taxis in Barcelona. Mercedes, Volkswagen / Porsche, fantastic, clean, air conditioned. Get to the airport. a third of the price of what the car service was, right? So we land, we get off, we've been traveling all day, we're exhausted. We walk out at the Delta terminal in Lauderdale, and I look at and I say to this guy, I go, where's Uber? And he points up the hill. Not two gigantic bags, and Helen's carrying shit like that. And right in front of me is a taxi stand. And I go, taxi, boom. It was so fantastic. So I did some homework, and taxis are actually winning the airport war. It's much more efficient because you get it, it's right in front of you.
I buy that. That I buy. That might be the only place that I would even think about ordering a taxi over an Uber would be an airport, because in most airports, it's like a 75-mile walk to get to wherever the Uber and Lyft is. Like in Charlotte, when you land in Charlotte to get to your Uber, you basically have to walk to Raleigh. Like, I'm like, we're not even at the airport anymore. Like, I got to walk to another town to get my Uber now. Like, I don't get it.
It's a different terminal. You have to go up, down, and around to get to where it is. So, these are the things you don't think about. I thought it'd be fun for us to talk, but let's get back to some real content this morning. You guys were going to go down this road yesterday. So, Mark, jump in and take over about employee happiness.
Well, so yeah, we started the conversation yesterday, and the Inc. article references a Harvard Business School professor who talks about the number one thing that makes employees happy is recognition, which I buy. I buy into a lot. I think what people really want the most is to feel valued. Forget about what they're actually getting paid. Forget about what they're actually doing. They want to feel like they have an impact. They want to feel like they're valued. And the easiest, most inexpensive way to do that is to create recognition and recognition programs, not reward programs, but recognition programs. And I think whether you use video to drive recognition, whether you do some kind of special announcement and you put it out in a really unique way, the way you can put the spotlight on people in the workplace, I think is the most important thing.
Lori?
So I think it is important. Yes, I do. However, I'm going to bring up, like the other part of it, I guess. I think that when you say this is what makes employees happiest, there's a long list of what makes them happy. I'm sure. Saying this from personal experience, right? In every company I've ever run. So there's lots of things that make them happy. This might be one of them. Might be, depending on the person. But it's the one thing that I think about recognition is it's short-lived, right? I tell you what a great job. I send you a video. I leave you a handwritten note. I do all that stuff. But what does it, I guess I have a question is, does it leave a lasting impression? Does that happiness last a little bit longer than that moment, right? So I guess that was one question.
I think so. So I don't think it's a one-time fix-all answer. I think if you're like, okay, I told you a good job, and now I'm going to ignore the work you do for a whole nother quarter until our quarterly review comes up and I give you another attaboy, that's ridiculous, right? Like, you get what you coach, you get what you praise. So the more consistent you are with the attaboys, I think the happier people are.
So I'm going to go.
Like everybody gets a trophy. Sorry.
I'm going to go in a totally different direction. I don't think it's the leadership's responsibility to make you happy. Happy is different for everybody. I think the responsibility, and this was echoed by Joe Mullings recently, it's to be fulfilled. Like, are you getting what you want here? Do you feel heard? Yeah, I think the word happy kind of makes it funky for me. And sure. I was glad that, Joe, I actually reached out to him when he posted something about it, because I feel the same way. You can't make everybody happy. You can't please everybody, but you can make people feel part of something. You can say, hey, like, I think Dion's getting in some people's ass, man. He's doing it. So I'm not happy about you chewing me out, but I feel part of something. I feel heard. I feel fulfilled. I feel all of that stuff. So when you talk about happy, it sounds like it's romper room. It's kindergarten to me. We're in business. We have things that we need to accomplish. Along the way, can we have fun and do all of that kind of stuff? Yeah, but you got to keep your eye on the ball, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I don't think it's a white conversation either. I don't think because you praise people and you recognize people and you say good job consistently, I don't think that means that you're not holding people accountable or you're not doing all of the other things that are necessary to drive a high performance culture. But if you are only holding people accountable and holding the standard and pushing people beyond their limits, and you are not recognizing, engaging, like I got testimonials through the wazoo about how video has changed the culture of organizations by only using it to celebrate people's behavior, to say, this is a core value of ours. Here's somebody who's exhibiting it, and I want to shout them out to the entire company. The way that changes everybody's behavior in an organization when done consistently, there's evidence of it.
So let's look at that from. So I do a video to you. Do you do it just to that person, right?
You can send it to the entire company. You can send it however you want.
So in the case that you just gave of doing it to everyone, what I have also seen is it almost can cause a problem in morale and culture. Well, no, I get it, but because other people feel like, well, why didn't I get it? And
I want that.
Starts this whole kind of thing. I want it if it's a positive, has a positive outcome. But
I can tell you, Lori, and I'm just going to blanket statement this. I can tell you that anybody who's going, why hasn't she shouted me out? I can guarantee you that they're not meeting the expectation the same way that the person you're shouting out is, and that they're worried about all the wrong things. So I want them to bring me that so that I can have that conversation with them.
So that goes.
Where does happy shine in that conversation? Like what you just said is spot on. And that has nothing to do with happy. I think happy, I just struggle with this conversation because we're here to do something. And if we achieve the goals, hey, your happiness might be you want to travel, you want to eat, you want to, I just think everybody has a different.
Everybody has lots of things that make them happy. I think there's very few human beings that don't hold feedback in super high regard, that don't hold positive feedback as something that feeds their soul and helps fuel them. So I would say that if you're missing that as your combination, you're missing out on a huge piece of driving.
I would absolutely agree. Yeah.
We talk about the feedback loop, that happens in sports all the time with film. There's a lot of guys that's not making them happy today. Looking at that feedback loop, they look at that film, they're saying, "Oh, you missed the block, you did whatever." So that doesn't necessarily produce happiness.
So so what you were saying. So two things, Mark. One, when I talk about that consistency, right? It's a little subjective, right? Nobody really, or does everybody understand how they get that recognition, that video, right? What gets you a video and what doesn't get somebody else a video? So I think it's a little bit subjective, and that's where I say it causes some of that little bit of riff. But so anyway, so I think that's a little bit of a part of it. So,
and I would say that responsibility falls on the leadership to understand what are the things we're paying attention to. Are we paying attention to hat and sunglasses, or are we paying attention to customer feedback? Are we paying attention to teamwork? Are we paying attention to communication? What are our core values? What are the behaviors that drive us to be successful? It's my responsibility to know that everybody knows those, everybody's held accountable to them, people are celebrated for them, and that those are the things I'm talking about consistently. And when somebody feels like they're not being recognized for their effort, it may be because I don't have visibility to it. And I could say, hey, how do you want me to celebrate you for these things when I don't even know anything about it? You've never brought it to my attention. Nobody's shown it to me. I would love to celebrate you for that. Make me aware of it.
I'm going to throw another bomb into this conversation. You guys always talk about do your job, right? How many times have you shown us who was it? Bill Belichick or I don't know.
Sure, good
somebody.
job. Make you a sports fan yet? Absolutely.
Do your job. So my question to you is, do I need to send you a video to tell you, great job on that spreadsheet or whatever it might be, right? Because that's your job. I'm just asking. I'm asking.
Yeah, but do you get that feedback just because you did your job? That's what you're supposed to do.
Asking.
My grandfather said, I'm not patting you on the back because that's what you're supposed to do. So, that's the culture I grew up in.
I'm not saying yes or no. I'm asking the question.
I think it's a good conversation. I think the word happy is what sends me off.
Yeah.
I love all the things that you guys are saying. And I think high-performing cultures do have high-performing conversations, good and bad.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with happy. Happy is a dangerous slope.
I mean, it's also not miserable, right? Like I've been in performance cultures that are absolutely miserable and they're not sustainable. So
Mark, yesterday you and I had a conversation where we were talking about strategy through fourth quarter and into next year. We were not necessarily aligned, but
nobody's saying be happy all the time.
Okay.
I think you're taking happiness as a blanket statement where it's like this euphoric place where you're happy all the time.
Just makes for a good show. So
people should still be happy. People should still be happy, and they should be happy maybe the majority of the time. If you're not happy the majority of the time, then you're either not doing the right thing or you're not working with the right people, or there's just something that's not right. Right? I talked about it today in my post about Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel was an alcoholic because he was comparing himself to everybody else. And he was so focused on becoming a head coach and getting to where he wanted to go that he couldn't even enjoy doing the good job he was doing. And he was burying those feelings with alcohol. As soon as he stopped all of that and just said, I'm going to do a good job for the sake of doing a good job, his life changed. And so if you happen to be that person that's disciplined enough to do that, good for you. If you want to take that person and send them to another stratosphere, tell them good job consistently. Tell them good job every week. Tell them good job every time you recognize something that they do that's worth recognizing them for. Because that person is going to go to another.
Here's where I'll agree with you, is that I think most cultures are set up to only point out what you're doing wrong, right? Not what you're doing right. And so that is a fundamental change in direction, that if the byproduct of that is happiness, I just get nervous because when you're unhappy, is that my problem?
And you talked about the feedback loop. The feedback loop is agnostic. It's not good or bad. It's just feedback, right? Now that feedback loop should be filled with positive feedback and criticism. Should be celebrations.
Listen, we're at 8:26. We're breaking records for length. We got to go to work. I got stuff to do. But here's the thing. I'm back tomorrow. My LinkedIn Accelerator happens. If you want to learn LinkedIn like a pro, you jump in. It's 4 individual coaching sessions. I'll be doing 4 of them. There'll be a group of people in those. It is a unique way to get really, really good and upskill, and that should make you happy.
Let's go. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll break down the blog. Let's get down to business. Welcome back, sir.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back and congrats.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. Friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down.